Hi, hello, and welcome to the Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Blessing. I'll be your oracle today, and this is a late lunar lounge. This is a late full moon video. The moon was full in Scorpio around the 5th or 6th of May, depending on where you were on the surface of the planet, the globe. Couldn't get it together, technical difficulties, mama needed rest. Normally I'm a few weeks ahead of schedule, especially lately. I inundated with pressurized energy, chaos, whatever. Long story short, we're still gonna have a reading guided by the moon, and I'll change the title to like the full moon in Scorpio in a week or so, or whenever the new moon video comes out, okay? And we'll be back according to schedule then, okay? Around by the new moon, we'll be back according to schedule. I'm a good 6 weeks out in advance right now. I'm getting back to schedule after like 4 or 5 years of being off. I'm sorry that this is late. If it's relevant to you, it's supposed to come out at the quarter moon. So I'm sorry. And it seems like a lot of you aren't noticing or don't care or whatever, but that's an assumption. I know some of you actually are. Some of you are like A1 day one, 10 toes down, you on the pulse, looking. You know, it's growing pains. It seems kind of universal. I'm getting it a lot in the reading. And when I say growing pains, it could mean ascension problems. It could mean healing. When you start to heal rapidly from a lot of recently unhealed trauma, things get chaotic. I'm personally going through it. My little awakening happened somewhere between October and January. It seems to be going around though. We're having growth spurts, we're having growing pains, we're having ascension problems, la-di-da, yada, yada. And full moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is the dark night of the soul house. It's also the battleground. It's also where you confront your own kind of caca. It talks about fear, ego, it talks about projection. And Scorpio is kind of one of the bane signs of the zodiac. If you think of the zodiac and all the different houses or all the different signs, it's like a society, a civilization of celestial beings. Scorpio is the walking around the earth. Scorpio is like somebody that has a criminal record, okay, just amongst the celestial beings. And whether it's true or not, that's kind of how it is when you go into the divine realm. That's kind of how it's seen. And really, Scorpio is a karmic sign. It has a karmic existence. And once you learn a lot of the Scorpio lessons, you're kind of free. You kind of have access to move around. So think about, after the Scorpio, think about a person with great credit, or think about a person with like a security clearance, stuff like that. But in order to get that kind of cred, you got to go through all that Scorpio energy. So think of Scorpio as the dark night of the soul. Literally, it's wandering around in the dark. In my camp, we call it wandering through the forest. And oftentimes you don't know what you're looking for. If you do know what you're looking for, you don't know how to recognize it. If you do know how to recognize it, you don't know where you are, where you're going to find it. Ad nauseum, ad infinitum, etc. Okay, at length. All right. So it's the Scorpio is the full moon, and the sun is in Taurus, Torino. I'm hearing the word Torino. So there's a release always with the full moon, okay? But since it's a lunar event, it's happening more in the subtle or the subconscious or the spiritual, except that it's like a polarized energy to something that's physical. So the sun, physical events, and then Taurus, which is literally physical manifestation. All fixed signs are about the full embodiment, but also it's Earth. So, and then it's having Uranus opposed there. And think about Pluto is in another fixed sign, Aquarius, but Pluto rules Scorpio. And then opposing that energy is Taurus, where we have Uranus. Okay, so Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, that's God, generator, operator, destroyer, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Okay, so we have some little cacophony, cascading, compounding thing here. And we don't know when it's going to pop, anywhere between May and November. But I feel like it's coming for the people who are the messiahs, who are the messengers, who are the prophets, who are the priestesses, who are the light workers. It's coming for us first, and then it's going to be on and popping for the rest of us. Okay, so I feel like we're all getting rounded up, not, not for the firing squad, but we're all getting rounded up to get tested, or to get fitted, or to get screened, or to get judged, or and then it's going to matriculate through us to our own individual camps, to our own individual communities. Okay. And again, Scorpio full moon is about releasing fear medicine, ego medicine. It's about confronting fears. It really is, truly, genuinely, sincerely. It's about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. And it's about getting safe and secure in your own knowing, because other people, there's a trust thing with Scorpio. Other people are always going to let you down if you're putting your full trust into them. And this is a lesson that's hard to hear unless you leverage the word expectation. Expectations are premeditated resentment. It's okay to have an agreement. It's okay to expect that somebody honors the agreement. Okay, but things that go without saying need to be said. Common sense is not that common. Okay, in order to hold somebody accountable, you need to take the time to make somebody accountable. And these things are not obvious, but they're important. And when we're in human form, we kind of get swayed left, right, sideways, anywhere sideways of center. The needle gets moved off of the balanced area, or off the middle of the spectrum, because of this emotional frequency. You got to remember, Scorpio is also a water sign. So, and it's also the Moksha Trikona, which is what I love to talk about. Moksha Trikona talks about the liberation triplicity. So again, when I'm saying that Scorpio is one of those karmic signs amongst the celestial beings, it's looked at as like a prison or a criminal sign. It really is. And no offense to Scorpios, because there could be some wonderful Scorpio energy. Unless you're Scorpio moon, there's a debilitation there. Okay. So a lot of times, whatever you're feeling or whatever you're perceiving, you're bound by it. And it's because it's a projection. Because you have to accept responsibility for the conditions of your life or the experiences of your life. And accepting responsibility doesn't mean fault. Doesn't mean that you did it. And sometimes it means that you did it, but you didn't know better, and you would do better if you knew better. So the graduation of responsibility is accountability. Let me put it to you this way. The graduation of love is compassion. The highest form of love is compassion. Now, the highest measure of love is empathy, but the highest form of love is compassion. To be honest, compassion is love in action. Okay, so accountability is responsibility in action. You could have not done it and still take accountability for something. Maybe you witnessed it, maybe you contributed to it, maybe you're the one who's choosing to fix it, or who's going to fix it, or whose job it is to fix it. That's taking accountability. You might not have been the one who done it. Even if you was the one who done it, you wouldn't have done it if you knew better, kind of done it. It's all of that. So also, there's circumstances in our life that we just get thrust upon us. If you marry somebody, you're stuck with their in-laws, with their family, your in-laws. If you, have a job or a business or something, the politics at work or the relationship dynamics you have to deal with. Okay, if you're on the road driving around, you're gonna be stuck in traffic. Think of Scorpio, also the 8th house, generally like the swamp. Okay, so when you're out of your house, there's all types of of people. I call Scorpio or the 8th house the Craigslist of the zodiac, meaning you cut life in half, or you cut society in half, and you get everything: the good, the bad, the ugly, the hideous, the grotesque, and the divine. So I look at it as like you're walking on the street, you don't know if the person walking next to you is a murderer or a saint. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about it too. Scorpio is designed to kill things. And I don't necessarily mean like murder, death, kill, you know. It means like um to bring a change that's irrevocable. And irrevocable is not always about like you can't revert back, but it's like once you know, you can't unknow. Once you know better, you have to do better. Once you've seen a bigger, brighter, and better example, you can't go back to this lower vibrational example and continue being satisfied, you know, contented. Does that make sense? That's the kind of kill that I mean. Sometimes it's like the tree of knowledge in the tree of knowledge, the tree of good and evil in the Garden of Eden. What is an Eden? Eden is a walled paradise. What is a garden? A garden is a place where culture has this perfect balance between nature and chaos, or between civilization and chaos. That's what a garden is. It's basically like a cultivated jungle. All right. And so that's also what the 8th house is, because of all of the houses, of all the different citizens or signs of the zodiac, we call that celestial citizens. Scorpio has this energy of being wild, being somewhat untamable. And the only way to tame the untamable is for you to master your own untamable. The only way for a world revolution is for you to have a human revolution, an individual revolution. Does that make sense? So that's also what Scorpio is talking about. There's no way to be a civilized unless you can tamp down your own uncivilized nature. And the way to do that is to confront it. Honestly, unless you're a little bit psycho, unless you're a little bit savage, how are you really going to call yourself tame? Okay. Because really you're just enslaved. You're enslaved to your own fear. You're enslaved to concepts and ideas that you really don't understand. Your status quo, rocking the boat, or whatever. When you really can know the left side of the spectrum and the right side of the spectrum and choose to be in the middle of the spectrum, that's a choice. Does that make sense? So Scorpio has all this energy. And I think why this channel's coming out the way that it is because Uranus is opposing Scorpio right now. It's going to be like that for another 4 or 5 years. You know, it takes about 7 years for Uranus to move through each sign. It takes about 88 years for it to go around the whole zodiac. Okay, so when I came into the channel, I was smelling like eggs, and it was interesting too because I'm really going like plant-based, and the difficulty for me with plant-based is I love eggs. I love eggs. It's otherworldly craving. And I am a dragon priestess, a sphinx priestess, which is lion combined with snake, or lion combined with dragon. And all of the snake, all of the dragon spirits, they always want egg offerings. And I just can't get enough of eggs. But the thing about me is I love duck eggs. Okay. So I was, and I was thinking like this morning, like it's been like a whole last month since I had me some hard-boiled eggs. So I made me a whole pot of hard-boiled eggs. And right when I sat down to the channel, I was smelling like that sulfur smell. I was thinking about hard-boiled eggs. Okay, so there's something about that. And I don't know the alchemical symbology. I don't know what the Hermetics would say about, you know, hard-boiled egg. You can probably Google it, or la-di-da, yada yada, duck duck go, or start page, or whatever. But I'm sure there's something there. And like I also have a lot of alligator spirits. So, you know, I always have eggs around. And you know, I am an indigenous practitioner. So you know, we know about egg baths and egg cleansing. And then, you know, I am an indigenous practitioner. So we also know about cascarilla, cacarilla. So that's just something to say. putting that out there. But for me, it's like, you do have to get a firmness. Scorpio is another Mars ruled sign. But it's a passive energy. So, because it's water, it's not active like Aries, the other Mars ruled sign. So, I'm getting that sulfur taste because I did have a boiled egg and I just burped. Excuse me. So, it's one of those things about like contents under pressure. Sometimes you only learn your strength, or sometimes you only get to that finished process or product once you're put under pressure. Think of a diamond, think of a seed. You have to bury it underground. It needs to be hidden for a while. Things don't always happen in the light. Even if it does sprout, la-di-da, 10 feet tall, 100 feet tall, whatever, what have you, there's still something going on underneath. And the tree knows what's going on below the surface, but other people don't. Does that make sense? And trust me, whatever's above the surface, if the tree didn't have them roots, it wouldn't matter. That tree wouldn't be able to bear no fruit, wouldn't be able to provide no shelter, no shade. Okay, I also thinking right now of a glacier. You only see 10% or 15% at the top, and there's a whole 90, 85% below. Does that make sense? So that's the thing about Scorpio. You need to do your own work. You need to do your own mastery, because what people see and what it's going to be much different. And it's like one of those idioms that people say a lot about masters. A master is somebody who can make something very complex look effortless and simple. Does that make sense? So that's also what Scorpio does, because the next house is the philosophy house. It's the 9th house. It's when you can actually see into the future, see into the light, sometimes for the first time. And natively, naturally in the Lagna, it's rumored, especially in Vedic astrology, that the universe, the middle of the universe, or the womb, the exact middle of the Milky Way, the land of the milk and honey, it actually starts in the Mula Nakshatra. It starts in the Sagittarius constellation, and I believe it. And that's opposed Gemini, which I believe the entrance to heaven is in the constellation of Gemini. So Gemini and Scorpio have a weird energy. Gemini is the divine being, and I'm sorry, but celestially, that you don't have to agree with me. It's fine if you have a different opinion, but celestially, Gemini is seen as a little bit of a divine being or an angel, and sometimes they're unknowing of it. And then Scorpio is seen as a little bit of a demonic or a little bit of a criminal energy. And again, it's an archetype. It's not always the reality. It's not always how it manifests. But when you have an archetype, it's kind of like an imprint. Does that make sense? So like, apples are going to have certain features, and there's different, varieties of apples, and not every apple is suitable for every person. Me, preferably, I like golden, delicious apples, okay? I have a mother figure who swears by Meyer lemons, and I cannot stand Meyer lemons, and I'm a lemon hoe. I go through 4 lemons a day, okay? Literally, the weight of my groceries when I'm bringing them home is usually because I got a bunch of clementines and a bunch of lemons, okay? I have a friend who swears by Chihuahuas, and I can't stand Chihuahuas. I'm a Doberman person in and out. I'll accept a Zolo Chinchilla or a Doberman, or don't give me no dog. You know what I mean? Things like that, you know what I mean? So just because there's an imprint, something that comes with a set of features, doesn't mean it's going to be that way for you. There's generalities in everything, but also there's specificities that only you would notice are only relevant to you. And again, that's Scorpio, because you have to go deep. You have to know something intimately and intensely. So why don't we see what's going on here? This is after the fact, because this was supposed to come out the last days of April, like the 29th or the 30th. And what is today, the 10th of May? Okay, we're like 10 days away from the next moon. So there's going to be a new moon video coming out in a couple days. Okay, so uh, I'm trying to get to the love reading, but I was called to put this video out. So the title, I don't mean to have clickbait or whatever the title is. It was just so that I didn't look stupid, sound stupid, putting out a moon video after the fact, or la-di-da, or yada yada. I'm going to use this moon energy to, you know, illuminate, elucidate, enumerate this video content, but I'm not even using the standard spread that I use for the lunar readings. Okay. We will be deliberating the findings from the Thoughts Tarot, illustrated by Lady Frida Harris, created by Aleister Crowley. Again, my name is Serene Priestess of Blosi. I'll be your oracle today. If anything I say resonates deeply with you, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. Know that I honor you, praise you, bless you, all of that fun stuff. I just want to thank you for your support. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. All the A1 day ones, 10 toes down, love you, honor you, praise you, thank you. You know, sometimes I'll be acting stupid, looking stupid, sounding stupid. That's because I have a lot of ignorance, naivete. And it's always going to be like that. I have Venus conjunct Mercury in the 8th house of Cancer, which is basically the Ace of Cups, Page of Cups energy. So I'm always going to be, the page talks about your descendant or where your Venus is. So I'm always going to have a little bit of like a social ineptitude. Also, that's chronic to my life. I graduated high school several years early, so I didn't really socialize with my age group, and the way that I came into knowing what's up was like a crash course in a late bloomer kind of situation. I'll take whatever accountability is there for me. Sometimes it's going to take me a minute to understand my responsibility, though, and it's not an excuse to diminish, dilute, distort any type of toxicity on my part. I'm just letting you know what's up, or what I'm dealing with, or what I have to walk with. That's part of my journey. I don't let nothing like that hold me back, but it is always something that I have to remind myself when the shit hits the fan, kind of deal. All right. So why don't we get in here and see what's going on? Okay, so we have a Reichstave, 9 of Cups here. Okay, so the 9 of Cups alone is about fulfillment. Now, it's not necessarily contentment or everlasting fulfillment, or if it is contentment and lasting fulfillment, it's in one area versus the 10 of Cups, which is like universal or sustaining. So this is something that you kind of got to feed. And when I see the 6, okay, we have the 6 of Wands here too. So that double Jupiter. So when I see this 9 of Cups, to me, it means your soul is clean and pure. That's the first thing I think. The spirit that's inhabiting the flesh is loved and cherished by God. So you're chosen, you've made it, you're sitting pretty. It can also mean that one of your prayers just recently got answered. And it also means you're kind of in connection with your own soul, or in connection with your ancestors. Now, these would be the recently departed. So 50 to 200 years at maximum that have left this physical plane. But it also means that they've probably also left the lower astrals. They're now entering into the middle realms of the divine. So what we call that, other wording for that, other language for that, would be leaving the astral or the esoteric and entering the spiritual, the quantum, or like I said, the divine. The lower astral would be the first couple of realms of the 4th dimension. The divine would be the middle realms, past the 4th realm of the 5th dimension. And if that makes sense, great. If it doesn't, great. It's just not time. So we have the 6 of Wands, like I mentioned, and with the 9 of Cups, this is winning, making it, okay? And I hate to be using this word. It seems to be coming out. People seem to be up in arms about it. I don't know what's up with that, but it doesn't take much to not be a loser. I don't like that word because I don't like to be denigrating or crass or whatever. And if somebody's not under great circumstances, they need compassion. because they're going through their healing journey. And when you see a person and they have lower circumstances or lower vibration than you, their purpose in that moment to you as a being in the universe is to remind you where you've come from. Okay. And I don't believe anybody in the universe is better than anybody else. I believe some beings are more deserving than other beings. Okay. I believe some beings are more worthy than other beings, but I don't think any being is better than another being. I believe every being serves a purpose, or the source or the divine wouldn't have created them the way that they are. That's just, I gotta put that out there. So for whatever reason, I'm being told to tell you, when you see multiple fives in a reading, there's something about destabilization, losing, starting from rock bottom, starting from scratch, things getting broken. And then when you see a bunch of sixes, it's about winning. So other words for winning is chosen, having skills, having support, you know, talents, abilities. Okay. So how do you get talents and abilities? You study yourself, you study a body of knowledge, okay, that takes you out of the five energy into the six energy. And then if you understand the tree of life, there's number correspondences. Fives go with sixes, okay? Fours go with sevens, okay? Eights go with threes, okay? Twos go with nines, okay? Ones go with tens, okay? So if you add those pairings up, it equals 11. You hear pairings, divine pairings. So when you hear the word loser, what is the opposite of a loser? A winner, okay? What does a winner do? Overcome. Okay, so here we've had to overcome something in order to find this sitting pretty in the soul. Okay, now this, all the sixes are talking about winning, but this six is about rewards, accolades, recognition. Okay, so there was some kind of having to overcome adversity or deal with apprehension. There was some kind of opposition here because we had to learn a lesson. That's one thing about the world card. It talks about accomplishment, achievement, winning, but also leaving something behind because we've learned a lesson. So it's not just going to the future, leaving something behind in the past, it's because your horizons are broadening. So again, the Six of Wands talks about a lot of that. Okay, and now we have the Nine of Wands. So 2 nines, 3 nines, Nine of Swords. 3 nines means icing something out, forced isolation. 2 nines means needing to spend time alone. So whatever this lesson is, we had to leave something behind, period, point blank. We can't take it with us where we're going. And I think that's unpleasant because what we're gaining comes with the cost, and a new life is going to cost us our old life. A new self is going to cost us our old self. Some things might still be familiar, might still be comfortable, and we're going to have to be a little bit uncomfortable in order to make more gains. And so there's a lot of emotions about that. Seven of Cups. It also means that over the last week, something was found out, maybe an attack, maybe an attachment, maybe some guilt, maybe some shame, maybe some anxiety. With the Death card, there is a forced change. It's kind of strict, it's kind of severe. With the Death card, La Morte, Tredici, and El Mundo here, it means that the chapter is being closed, okay? So something's no longer gonna work, something's not gonna be like that anymore. That part of ourself is over, or that time in our life is done. I'm hearing done data. So it's a pleasant ending, but it comes with a little bit of pain because we were under attack or in the dark about something, or we personally were acting stupid or contributing to something kind of funky that we would have done better or different if we knew. It might have been the information was withheld from us, so we were under some type of illusion, confusion, delusion. I think like we had some kind of, with the moon card, because this is Venus in Scorpio. I'm getting a lot of when in the readings, when there's an enemy, a lot of times there's a moon in Scorpio or Venus in Scorpio lately. And listen, Scorpio energy is typically toxic until the person is very mature. So if you're one of those Scorpio people that it's not a malignant tumor, great, good on you. Oftentimes that ends up happening, but it's a late stage thing. Early in the beginning, Scorpios are way too, they can't see outside of whatever they're thinking, feeling. Unfortunately, really obvious things, other signs for Scorpio, it's not. Because Scorpio also is that tunnel vision energy. Okay. Sagittarius is that broad-minded vision. Okay. And so I feel bad for Scorpio because it's like you have a few extra impediments. It's almost like God put shackles on you for some kind of reason. But when you shake them off, finally, it is very liberating. But I feel like you're no longer a Scorpio at that point. You've progressed to Sag. You know, that's what I'm getting to. 10 of Pentacles here. So 10 of we've had lots of pairs. We had 3 9s. We had a pair of 10 here. So there's a culmination, a cycle ending. Okay. Somebody here may be a Scorpio moon. So I'm getting Scorpio moon, Scorpio Venus. And wasn't I just saying that? I don't know. In the readings that I'm getting, a lot of times when there's an open enemy, an antagonistic, adversarial asshole, they have some kind of Scorpio moon, Scorpio Venus. Leo rising energy. And what's relevant about a Leo rising when I'm saying Scorpio moon, Scorpio Venus, when you're Leo rising, the bottom of your chart, the 4th house ruler is Scorpio, which means you have a Scorpio heart, and the moon is debilitated in Scorpio. Around 10 degrees Scorpio, the moon is debilitated. What does that mean, debilitated? It means it has to work twice as hard to get half as far. And that's never a good thing when it comes to emotional things. If you're working really hard to get emotional needs met, it's a really bad combination. Okay. So we have the 7 of Wands here with the 5 of Wands. So I'm just getting like a week ago, we needed to start to put something together or to build something or to understand what the universe intended. There's conflict around it. Now it could be, if there's other people involved, that means that people are jealous. There's some type of crossing or conundrum or competition or challenge. If it's within ourselves, going towards this is repelling things. So we're being reminded of our vibration. Both of those kind of things can happen in the 5 of Wands, but let me delineate. If we're dealing with other people, it can be competition, karma, jealousy. If we're not dealing with other people, but there's a place or thing, when we try to move towards it, if the vibration isn't right, we can start to have things in our life repelled, or we can be repelled. 4 of Swords, yeah. We need to understand what we've healed from in terms of trauma, in terms of stasis, where we've had to remain in life until we were able to culminate some kind of cycle, but the cycle would be complete when we had some kind of intellectual knowledge. Okay, so let's read this down just a little bit. We're not done here. So this winning, this getting to higher ground, this reward, recognition, accolade, support from the universe because we've overcome something, we have to stand our ground. in some way. We were going through a very difficult cycle, burdensome almost. We also were erecting something. So we had to build something. It could have been self-worth and value, it could have been an actual business platform, foundation, whatever, what have you. Because there's something esteemed that we're going to be given. Being chosen is a form of esteem, in my opinion. Yeah, so, but something was starting to slip. The Seven of Wands is an alert to something slipping. The Seven of Cups is an alert to something being an illusion, a mirage. But the other side is competitive, but like I said, the fives are about losing, the sixes are about winning. So we start with a 6 and it ends in a 5. But the way that this reads is saying, like, we're getting what we want after a very long time or a very difficult struggle, and the hoes around us are going to try to fight. They're going to get all in their ego, their la-di-da, their yada yada. They're going to try to create obstacles. Okay, but again, we've made it. We're sitting pretty, we're chosen, but we're feeling overwhelmed, we're feeling inundated. Somebody may be trying to love bomb, glamour magic, some kind of create some kind of illusion, delusion, confusion, smoke screen. Okay, it's Niguan Hapan. We've been in the dark long enough. We've been under pressure long enough. Nine of Swords. There's been a lot of cruelty and futility for enough time that now we have protection on all sides. We can see things as they are. We've overcome that. So this is accomplishment and achievement. That's the sun and the, it's also soul retrieval. It's also the world of healing. Okay, so let's keep going here. I'm hearing that Shania song, What Made You Say That? It wasn't the moonlight, it wasn't the starlight in your eye. So somebody is asking themselves, how did you get like this? When did you come up from underneath the pressure I put you in, the hole that I left you in, the sunken place I left you, the jar that I put you in? When did you come out from underneath this oppression? When did you come out from underneath this idiocy, this stupidity? When did you increase your vibration? When did you boss up? Why aren't you still on some loser shit? Somebody is saying that to themselves, like, where did you come from? Us, we've always been there. There's just been things in the way. That's very common of Scorpio. The obstacles that you have to go through to get to where you need to be, that's Scorpio. The Tower is talking about revelations. Some things may have a negative connotation here. The Empress, so this is a person who wants something without giving an equally beneficial, nourishing needs exchange. 8 of Wands, that can be jealousy, malice, contempt, and this is a pair of 8s. So, okay, I just want to say energy projection, spiritual manipulation. Okay, I just want to say, but also somebody might be working on something and they're about to come out with it. Somebody might have, they might be mastering something. They might be doing work, and they're about to announce it or release it. Ooh, okay, so yeah, a message. Now, also, this can be a token of affection. This could be somebody who's a Taurus rising. This could also be your feelings. This person's feeling love, okay? And it also can be a baby mama. This could be somebody that is close to coming to full term of a pregnancy. The Page of Cups and the, yeah. And this is progeny. Literally, this card is called the progenitor. But also somebody is wanting to expand. Literally, they're wanting things to be dynamic. Some situation's going to turn around, or somebody is trying to barter, navigate, negotiate. There might be some kind of reversal. Things might be becoming unstable. Somebody might be tyrannical, dictatorial. Okay. They might be too strict with something, and they might have I'm hearing a hairline trigger. Okay, somebody might be possessive, obsessive, demanding, domineering. And unless this is a business partnership, I don't like to see this pair. Unless they're creative partnership or business partnership, I don't like to see that pair. Okay. I'm also hearing that behind the scenes in the manipulation energy, it might be some kind of Virgo moon. What I'm getting is that somebody is working, some kind of mother figure or female boss is working on unraveling some type of power dynamic, okay? And it's through affinity, meaning with people or relationship to a place or thing. And a lot of energy has been coming at it for a long time. Different types of energy has been coming at it for a long time. 2/8 also talks about the results that come out of time and indulgence. Okay, so let's wrap this up here. Yeah, I'm hearing that song. What made you say that it wasn't the moonlight, wasn't the starlight in your eye? Yeah, it's a Shania Twain song. Okay, so even though we're out of the negative connotations, I'm still getting more negative connotations because the fives or certain swords or like even things like the hangman or the devil, they can give you the inverted meanings, meaning reverse. Merc Stave. Okay, so we have the 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles. So that literally means destabilization or forced change. So unless you're making an intentional change yourself, it's like the Tower. Unless you're bringing the Tower, it's not going to be pleasant. So the 4 of Pentacles, it can just mean any home, not just your home, or even your wallet, your purse. The 5 of Pentacles means there's a destabilization here. Something's become untouchable or tainted in some kind of way, dirty, mucked up. There can be some kind of hardship. So somebody could be on a really shoestring budget. Okay, could we have a 4 here? So it's like somebody is trying to build something or have some kind of pulpit or some kind of audience or some kind of area where they operate from. I'm hearing command center. There's somebody's trying to strip somebody of their command, and then the devil here. So remember I was saying I'm getting negative connotations. The 5 of Pentacles told me that, oh, we're gonna have a few reverse meanings coming up. Okay, well now it's kind of overarching reverse meanings. So this is not knowing who to trust or having a false connection. Yeah, and this is somebody who's greedy, possessive, miserly. This is somebody who's unable to defend themselves. They might be regressive. It can mean broken sanctuary, broken refuge. It could even be like if you go to court, like a commercial court, this could be piercing your veil of secrecy or you know, I'm hearing if you have an LLC, you need to get your paperwork in order because it's easily gonna be pierced in court. Okay, make sure your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, your P's and Q's are in order. Somebody here is wanting to separate somebody from their peace, from their security, from their refuge, from their sanctuary. They're wanting them to be needy, dependent, regressive. And there's an absence of love here, even though we have the Knight of Cups, the 3 of Swords with the Devil. Somebody here is about power. They want to break, they want to sabotage. It's a short-lived victory, however, 2 5s. Remember I was talking about in the beginning, I'm sorry to keep, this word keeps coming up. It's making me uncomfortable. We have a pair of 5s here and a pair of 4s. So somebody's holding on, clinging on. They're trying to make some kind of relationship, but they're doing war and destruction to do it. Okay, because we have a pair of 4s, we have a pair of 5s, we had a pair of 10s, we had a pair of 8s, we had 3 9s. Okay, so somebody is weaving some kind of spell, some kind of magic, energy projection, spiritual manipulation, doesn't matter. Okay, so we have 2 5s here. So that is chaos and disorder. It's destabilization. Okay, it's a breakdown of some kind. And with the devil, it is anarchy. Normally 3 5s in general without the devil would be anarchy, but 2 5s with the devil, anarchy. Somebody wants to do chaos in our life so that they can come in and establish order or concoct some kind of opportunity to come in as a liberator and a savior, but we were already safe and secure, and they had to destabilize us. It's a war tactic, and it would come up under a Scorpio moon. That was what that death card was out earlier. And it is somebody, it's an evil sorcerer. It's a sorcerer. Now, it means that they're using what's available to them in the environment with some kind of selfish, diabolical tactic. That's what I'm getting. So what's this 4 of Wands here? What's that about? Because it could be the home, it could be our platform, it could be our operations center. It could be our command, it could be our position. Lover and priest. So we're a beloved priest of some kind is what I'm getting. It could be light worker as well, this combination. Somebody's obsessed with us. They adore us, they celebrate us, but they're not going to say that to our face. Somebody wants to seduce us in some kind of way. And I'm actually getting that from the priest, not this. So we might be, because the first thing I heard when I saw this was pulpit. Let's clarify this. Yeah, somebody wants to be our hero, but they need to paint themselves as that. And it's because they want us, our lives to sink. They want us to go down, pardon the squiggles. They want us to be taken down a few pegs so that they can come in and save something. They feel like helping us is going to empower them or make us feel. And listen, I was telling you, they're trying to destabilize us in some kind of way. The destroyer is here. I'm not liking this. What we've already overcome just recently, though, is that we had some kind of naivete. I was talking about that in the beginning of the video. I'm learning a lot about this concept and idea, you know. I'm a metaphysician through my life. I've been that way, but I'm making some things official and legitimate in my life. So I'm re-going through a lot of things. I'm looking at notes and journals from decades ago, years ago. I'm rekindling and recapturing connections with old guides, mentors, teachers, coaches, you know, even finding new models, which are mentors that you don't work directly one-on-one with. Social sciences, I'm learning about a lot. There's a lot of this kind of energy going on right now. Wising up, and I keep hearing that song, "What Made You Say That?" Shania Twain song. People are expecting us to stay stupid, to stay stuck on stupid, to stay low, to stay slow, to stay dumb. They're not expecting us to wise up. They're not expecting us to know better. They're not expecting us to do better. They're not expecting us to catch on. Okay. And they're trying to rule by intimidation or fear or whatever. And that shit doesn't, excuse me, that stuff doesn't work with the divine being. Because we're always going to go towards love. We're always going to go towards the light. It's in our nature. It's in our core. It's a core behavior. And you have to be on some kind of malignant or separate or disunified stuff to think that fear or intimidation, if you need to bait or barrage or bully or blackmail somebody into messing with you or being in a connection with you, that's a toxic, malignant tumor type of section of the humanity spectrum, and that just means you really need healing. Okay, and this Virgin is telling me, because this is in the position of what we've recently overcome. So we do have some type of innocence, some kind of purity, some kind of naivete. We're really ignorant, naive. And I'm seeing this a lot. I'm seeing this a lot in the readings, even in my own self. So yeah, I'm just putting that out there. And again, the Magician does take a long time to mature. He is very tactful and skillful, but it takes a long time to get there. And we did have the King of Wands earlier. That's the longest to mature. The King of Wands takes the longest to mature. You'd think it would be the King of Pentacles because you need to gain wealth. You have confidence to pursue and to manifest your vision. That's the King of Wands. It takes the longest to get like that. So what is this Five of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles here? What is that about? Yeah, so we have some kind of female mother figure. They don't want us to move on, move forward, to not need them. They want to make us, they're doing this respectability politics stuff thing-ish, which is like, first of all, they don't want us to be individual. They don't want us to get in the box, be conditioned. So if we have anything different, anything that they can't bring under control, regulate, they can't impose or enforce some type of regulation on, they're going to be agitated. They're not just trying to block us, they're trying to break us, separate us from our own self. And they want to remove us from our security, but it's not like a physical monetary security. We have some kind of emotional security, some kind of emotional bank account that makes us kind of impenetrable, and they want to take that away. So it says here, smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent, but children is also another word for victim profile. And what I'm getting is their respectability politics, virtue signaling, tone policing, individuality shaming, concern trolling, basically othering, making wrong, making bad, making different, making other. And what's behind, and then child, mother and child. So when this is a victim profile, okay. And this is the second time this has come out. Somebody here needs to understand that this other opponent, person or place or thing, they are corrupt. They mislabel, misjudge, misperceive, misuse, and they're always just going to take the easiest route to get whatever they need. So they're going to seem flip-floppy after a while, and it's because they're devoid of spirit. They're all about the physical. They're all about what they can see, and they might even be materialistic, and they might just want to deplete all of our everything. So they might be trying to get their hands on our money, our network or net worth. They might be trying to get that means also they might be after our clout, or whether they're trying to tear down a reputation or pump themselves up based on our name. Okay. And life is difficult for them, and it's not difficult for us because we're doing our work. And they might not even be able to perceive the things that we've gone through. So they might be looking at us thinking like, oh, well, if I had it your way, I blah da di da di da di blah. Okay, well, you could do it too. And why you not doing it? Why you checking about me? Why you jocking my nuts like that? You don't need to be worrying about me. Like, you can bounce up out of here, And again, I was saying victim profile a lot, okay? And these are just clarifiers that I'm not even, the card hasn't popped yet. What is this Five of Pentacles? What is this Five of Pentacles? Okay, so this is a dictatorial little hoe. They really like to. Remember, I was saying they're mislabeling, misjudging, misperceiving, corrupt in some kind of way. Dictatorial control, abuse of authority instead of supporting life, positive, guiding light within a tribal unit, instead of leading, guiding, mentoring, coaching. They become very arrogant when their authority is challenged. They're controlling and demanding, dominating and possessive. Shapeshifter. They assume whatever form. They use whatever. Their story is gonna flip flop, and they're gonna be seen as a shifty little. I'm hearing a bunch of curse words, and I'm walking out of that energy. So I'm just. This is very disorienting. Okay, and on their side, again, corrupt. They're corrupt. And then hedonists. They're jealous of what we have. They want our life. They're misperceiving that things are easy for us, and that's part of their contempt towards us. And the thing about it is that's actually not true. We've gone through our trial of fire already, though. Okay. Like we've already gone, see that pilgrimage? We've already gone through some kind of trial, tribulation by the universe, the source. And then this victim, yeah, okay, it means all these things, and I have my own meanings and readings and intuition and la-di-da and yada yada. But also, darling, this victim profile, I'm gonna read it to you. It prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Basically, it lets you know why people are after you, or why somebody's hating on you, or what it is that's in you that's valuable, because sometimes we don't even know. And there were two indicators that we were innocent, naive, immature, basically innocent. Okay. Inept, though, is not always ignorance. It can just be lacking skills and lacking the competency. Okay. This somebody here is like really after us because we have qualities they lack. We possess qualities they lack. And it's worse than that because we're receiving things, we're being blessed with things that they're not. And they feel entitled, and we have these things and we're very benevolent with them, and they really, okay, I'm getting a lot. They're in their mind saying, well, if I had your la-di-da, I would XYZ elemental P. If I had your ABCGUV, I would XYZ elemental P. Ho, go EFG yourself, please. Okay, vai fanculo. Please. Now I'm hearing that song, I'm wishing on a star. Okay, so we might be wish fulfillment for them. That might be what that 9 of child wounded. Oh my gosh, saboteur, alchemist, child wounded. Okay, so first of all, victim profile alert, child victim profile. And again, they're shifty, misuse of power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice instead of transform. See, envy is worse than jealousy. Let me just read you something here. Okay, jealousy is mistrust divided by self-esteem. Envy is pride plus vanity divided by kindness. So they don't have humanity in them anymore. They're something is leaking out of their soul. They need to plug the holes in their soul. And the only way to do that is to fill it with God. God is the spackle for that, okay? So this Five of Swords, Three of Swords, them trying to sabotage and break. This Five of Swords is sabotage. They're trying to separate us from our own inner power. So instead of highlighting the fear of self-empowerment that it would bring into their life, and basically standing up, taking accountability, not being a loser, or being on some loser shit, it doesn't take much to come out of loser energy. Really, what makes you a loser is not doing anything to change those circumstances. They're inducing self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. So this person cannot transform base motives into golden wisdom. If you find that you're jealous of somebody, it's because deep down you feel like you're worthy or you have that quality too, and you're seeing somebody get it before you get it. Okay, envy means you don't want them to have it, period. Jealousy means you don't care if they have it or not, but you don't want to not have it. Does that make sense? So jealousy is the circumstance, envy is the person. And that's the thing. How do you know when a person is really toxic? Well, first of all, if they're gossiping or inventorying other people and what they got, that's a sign of a low asshole, a low vibrational person. Because small minds, weak spirits, they talk about things, they talk about other people. You know, excuse me. Average minds talk about common things, celebrities, materialistic things, and then great minds talk about ideas. Okay, so when you hear two sides of the story, the way you know its truth is the real victim is going to be talking about the pain they went through or the experience that they had or what they experienced, you know. And the abuser or the perpetrator, they're going to be talking about the other person. Okay, so I don't know what that is, why that came through, but again, as I said, this person's trying to they're trying to finagle their way in by concocting some kind of situation where we're needy, but in order to do that, they need to tear us down. And I only ever choose 4 cards, and for some reason it brought 5 cards. So again, I'm overwhelmed. This is too much. Excuse me. It's regular tea. I drink a lot of mate. I order it by the kilo from South America. I have this distributor out of Atlanta. They can get me mate as cheap as $6 a kilo. Mine's a little bit more than that because I like some of the fancy stuff. Like I love lime and grapefruit flavored things. I'm a huge citrus person. I'm crazy for citrus. So I like all my little flavors, and I have right now, you know, every curandera, which, you know, I have a lot of rose hips and lavender and, you know, jasmine and all these little flower essences. But when I don't have them flower essences, I love this distributor because they can get a lot of flower infused. What I'm saying is I'm really into mate. I'm crazy for mate. I have been since I was 25. So it's like going over a decade now. In addition, I like Tedede. That's my favorite variety or make of, so I think it's Ecuadorian or Peruvian. It's a way of making mate, yerba mate. So I like mate sin palo. I'll take con palo. But I don't like it smoked because I usually add in things like fruit and sugar, and I like it cold. That's the tedede. Another thing with I don't like anything smoked. I don't like mesquite flavor. I'm not allergic to anything but pork and mesquite, and I'm not actually allergic to either of those, but I'm repulsed by it. So I just say I'm allergic. I don't know why that's relevant. Little tidbit. Okay, so 5 cards came. I don't like that, but okay. The 5th card is damsel. So when the 5, I use it as wild card, but it also means like this is out of control. This isn't unmanageable. When I'm like, I'm overwhelmed, it means something is unmanageable. This is a trickster. This is a nunca. No. Niet, nein, nunca te rinne non caccia non ciao nessuno. No. Okay, but going back to the 4, bully, vampire, detective, and messiah. The 4th position is what we've recently overcome. So we now know what, okay, so because if somebody is trying to intimidate you, it actually means they're intimidated by you. Just like if somebody's trying to take you down, 7 of Wands, it means they're already beneath you. So this is what we're getting. Whatever this little hoe is doing, they're, highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. But in the shadow, you're concealing deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. And then we have vampire, which is what's at the gate. This is the tactic they're employing. So they're complaining about us to other people, not to our face, though. We might not have had any inkling that they have an issue with us. But they're depleting others for psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. Okay. They're spying on us, voyeurism, falsifying information. They think they know everything, or they're looking for some kind of way to ingratiate themselves. And this is what I was getting the whole time. Messiah, they want us to worship them or to think like they're our savior or some BS like that. I don't understand that energy. It's coming up a lot in the readings. It's very disturbing. I'm disturbed, okay? I'm disturbed by it because that is some kind of weird, that is a whole ass con in and of itself, to try to leverage or force or blackmail or extort devotion out of somebody. That's another level of a con, okay? To extort devotion out of another person. Ooh. It's like, to me, I don't even understand love spells. Why would you want somebody that doesn't organically want you? That don't make no sense to me. Okay, but exaggerated belief that they are the only means through which we can succeed. They want what we got to come through them so that they have some kind of tie. That's like a God complex in the weirdest way. Okay, it's just disgusting. Then we have Messiah came back, okay, because those were the clarifying energies. So Messiah is now, you see this 6 of Cups? They want to be the ruler of our heaven, of our haven. Hey, they want to be the landlord of our haven, the ruler of our heaven. Okay, serving humanity with humility. This is not a humble hoe. They might try to come off like that. Okay, they could, and they're behind the scenes doing research, trying to figure out great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. No. Okay, so this is what I'm getting. This is what I'm seeing. Let's talk about the healing on this right quickly. Yeah, so this person is trying to overcome us by any cost, and they're not gonna stop, because they're willing to lose their soul over trying to dominate us, over trying to defeat us in some kind of way. And the thing about it is, because I kept seeing angel, I kept seeing martyr, I kept seeing virgin, but it was more than 4 or 5 cards in. It was just when I would cut the deck, I would see it. I need to pause for a second. Okay, we're back. This person is not going to stop. They're going to lose their soul over trying to attack us. And this is what I'm saying that, and this has fallen. It's starting to fade. There's 4 or 5 cards in this deck. You can title yourself. So they're really going to lose themselves trying to take us down, or and it's even worse because they're not initially trying to take us down, but they're trying to bring us under our control. So again, it's almost like they're, first of all, I'm hearing big game hunting, so we're out of their league. And then secondly, it's like, if you can't beat them, join them, but it's the reverse. So if you can't join them, kill them. It's what I'm getting. Okay, so it says here, trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifferent to the suffering inflicted upon others. They don't actually care the harm that they're bringing. Strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice, and conquering the ego. That's what it's supposed to be. And they have some type of gain, personal agenda, and they're going against us. They're fighting us just for the fact. So somebody doesn't like us and they want to go against us. It doesn't matter if they're trying to join or la-di-da or yada yada or A to C or EFG or element of P or XYZ. They're contrarian. They want to go against us. That's just unnecessary conflict. And that was that 5 of Wands earlier, by the way. So this is what I got. This reading's been very robust. It's fine though. I'll talk to you soon, darling. I'm startled. No, we're not done. Okay, so this person again, I'm getting that energy. If I had your ABC, I would be at EFG. Okay, ho, go do it yourself. There's this maladaptive, idiosyncratic, perfunctory, extemporaneous little plagiarizing lion-ass ho. That's what this is. And then you keep getting that dark energy. They're falling. They are falling. They're falling, they're falling, they're falling, they're falling. Okay, I'm just so confused by this. All right. Okay, we have 2 poppers here. Your reputation for forgiveness. So yeah, one thing I do want to say is don't become vengeful. I did get the advocate thing in there earlier, which is like, pray for their healing, pray for their forgiveness. Don't hold a grudge or harbor ill feelings or contempt towards them. It's easier said than done. I know, I understand. But part of this is like, it's not that they know not what they do. The worst thing ever in the grand scheme of things is to be a negative cause. It's very karma creating. It's a whole debt of karma. In addition, they have to live with themselves. That they're before they even go off to the abyss or the pit or the duat, damnation, they're stuck with themselves. Like that, I, I pity them. I feel bad for them, sorry for them. And when you're coming from that kind of place, praying for their healing, praying for their awakening, calling upon the spirit of the ancestors to take that child into their loving arms and heal them, who do you think's on a higher ground? Okay. But also forgiveness. We have to forgive ourselves. We were probably naive, ignorant. We probably didn't see the signs were right there. We were probably intimidated or bullied or distracted from our intuition, our insight, our intellect, our our impressions. And so we also have to forgive ourselves is what I'm getting. Okay, so people may try to ruin your reputation and this can hurt, but remember, it can only hurt your feelings. The world will forget. So do not hold on to bad publicity or what others say. You and God know the truth, so let the rest of it go. I believe we must forgive whenever possible, but sometimes there are certain things or people we cannot forgive, no matter how hard we try. This is where we must give it to God, for God is greater than we are, and we can take care of. I got very disoriented. This is where we must give it to God, for God is greater than we are and can take care of whatever we cannot. Okay, forgiveness. Another thing is, it's not always a person. We might not have a person that we're going up against. We do. We just don't know who it is. Five of Swords, it means open enemies. So they were recently Seven of Swords and they're going to become Five of Swords. But also, if we don't know who this is yet, think about it in general. We've got to wise up to the game. We're divine chosen children. And so these are the things that we're going to come across, okay? And you have to understand, it's like a millionaire. A millionaire is going to have to deal with taxes. A celebrity is going to have deal with security concerns, privacy concerns. A person in a position of power, whether they be elected, appointed, la-di-da, or yada, yada, they're going to have to deal with people asking them for favors all the time. A person with a certain type of job, maybe a public trust kind of job, they're going to have to abstain from certain areas of society that the average person gets access to. For instance, I have a friend who's a teacher. They can't go on the hookup apps, I have another friend who's a social worker. They have to stay off Tinder, I have a friend who works at a social services agency. They have to stay off, out of certain, they can't go into the clubs and yada, yada, things of that nature. So, these things happen. When you're chosen child, you have to conduct in a certain way, and that's what's up. It comes with the game, it comes with the scene, it comes with get with the program kind of deal. Like I'm saying, if you're a millionaire, you're going to have to worry about taxes. If you're a celebrity, you're going to have to have your security concerns, your privacy concerns, and it's just what's up. And don't complain, get in the game. And it's unfortunate because when you're really divine, when you're really pure, you come off like that. First of all, you're going to get sacrificed by other people. It sometimes makes them happy that there's an illness and evil inside of them. But we also are going to have that ignorance, naivete, innocence, immaturity kind of thing. It's really innocence. It really is, because we would do better if we knew better. But it's going to be, again, forgiveness, because honestly, when we get startled awake, it's going to hurt. And the first thing we're going to want to do is to say, hey, I see you. I got your number. I know what you did. I know who you are. They knew who we were and they know who they are and they enjoy it. And even if that's not 100% true or exactly true or whatever, staying out of that energy, don't give your energy to that. So even if we don't know exactly who the perpetrator is, or we haven't come across an open enemy yet, or we haven't had some hoe double down with us and in our past try to trickster us or take us down or whatever, it is happening. But if the open enemy is right now a hidden enemy, understand that this is generalities. These are the things that are going to be happening. This is the cycle of things, and we're on a trajectory of waking up, and it's going to start with the light workers first. And you would think that you're awake if you're a light worker. You're always awakening, because when you're awake, you actually get to go home. When you're healed, you become whole, and when you're whole, you become holy, which means you merge back into the divine. Okay, so there's always a lesson along the lines, and typically around the next retrograde is when you start teaching that lesson to your own community, your own flock, your own following. Okay, so just be aware and be merry, fairy, and blessed, gay, as in gaiety. Okay, and take good care. Wait, we're not done. Okay, this has been a very robust reading. Visualize a healthy mind and body. So focus on what you want. Do whatever is the healthiest, and I'll guarantee you, if you go around hunting demons, you will eventually become a demon. If you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss will finally stare back into you. Does that make sense? Don't be that rabbit archetype, always worrying about fears, always worrying about vulnerabilities, because when you're whispering them to yourself, somebody will actually hear. You know, if you give the enemy information, you're thus telling them how to defeat you. Visualize yourself as a completely healthy person inside and out. Do one thing that brings you closer to achieving the state. Your goal is to do whatever it takes to become the healthiest you possible. You do need to change direction a little bit as well. We need to change direction, examine the challenges in our life and make peace with them. Reflect on the things we're called upon to endure in this lifetime. Remember that we are all presented with obstacles along the way, helping us grow spiritually and serve God. Accept life's challenges, change direction. Change direction. Know that sometimes healing depends on strength, willingness, and the ability to change direction or adapt. Many people postpone doing so out of fear or laziness, and then they wonder why they're not happy and healthy. The goal is to make one solid, effective healing choice by the end of the day that can positively change the direction of life. And this is on the grounds of examining personal interactions, identifying change, and breaking negative habits. What we've already recently come through or healed through is transforming worrisome thoughts. Okay, take good care. This reading was a little long, but you know, I gotta serve, and that's what I was called to do. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Take good care. of anything that was said resonates deeply with you. Go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. Okay, bye-bye.